The federal government has a plan to return at least 40 children of men and women who fled Australia or chose to leave Australia to go and create an Islamic caliphate in the Middle East. Many of the husbands ended up dying, so their wives ended up with the kids inside a refugee camp. The current government is thinking of ways to bring them home. The former government and current opposition leader says, hell no.
I am more strongly of the view now that there is a very significant risk in bringing some of these people to our country that can't be mitigated, frankly, not to the level that we would require to keep Australians safe. And I think the government really needs to explain properly what it is they're proposing here. And I think the public would rightly ask questions, and very serious questions, if there was to be an attack that took place in our country.
Now, the truth is about any of these immigration issues, where do people end up? They end up in the outer suburbs, and in Sydney's case, that's Western Sydney, and of course, it is the wonderful city of Fairfield. Its Mayor is Frank Carbone, who joins us now. Mr Mayor, you know that there's a good chance these sorts of families end up in your community, and your community doesn't want these people, and that's certainly not because they're bigots about people of a certain faith.
Well, Paul, our communities are the most welcoming communities across the world. I mean, Fairfield is a settlement city. It's always been a settlement city. We actually welcomed 12,000 refugees that came from Syria and Iraq, of a Syrian, Chaldean, Yazidi, and various different minority backgrounds that actually fled ISIS. So our council and our community and Southwest Sydney has always opened up its arms to migrants, especially those seeking persecution. And when this happened, of course, with ISIS, they came here, and I think it's important to understand that there's a difference between welcoming refugees that want to be part of your country and a difference between welcoming those that actually want to leave your country, turn your back on your country, and actually fight against your country.
Great point. Fairfield took 12,000. Fairfield took 12,000 that were leaving the very violence that certainly the women were running towards along with their husbands. So what's your advice to the Prime Minister? If he's hell-bent on all these people turning up, where should they go?
Well, I think, first of all, the Prime Minister should listen to the community. After all, that's actually who elects him. And at the end of the day, my view is this, that these people left this country full well knowing that they went there to fight against Australian soldiers, and they were told in 2014 that their citizenships could be cancelled, that their passports would be blocked, and that they could possibly not even come back. And they knew this all the way through, and through the war in Iraq and in Syria, there were tens of thousands of people that fought alongside the Australian soldiers that lost their fathers. There are a lot of wives and a lot of children that don't have fathers, and they currently live in Iraq and Syria, and they would love to be here. And the point I'm making is, why would you want to bring people here that don't want to be here, that fought against our soldiers? And think about the soldiers that lost their lives and their wives and their children, and also think about and make sure that you do not resettle them in Southwest Sydney, because I genuinely believe that the community does not want to be resettled here.
You're a good man, Frank. That's exactly the type of local mayor you want, one who's proud of his community and willing to stand up against the wokesters. Good on you, mate. Appreciate it.